Many times there are comments from internet users and they always suggest that Formula 1 should try the reverse grid. This discussion has been going on for ages, and in 2019 there was even a brave reporter who asked the world champions Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton what they thought about the reverse grid. And Sebastian Vettel's answer tells you how all the drivers feel.
I think it's complete bullshit, to be honest.
That's exactly what I said.
Did you say that?
That's kind of what he said.
But in a recent interview, it wasn't really some random Formula 1 Twitter fanatic who proposed the reverse grid. It was in fact the CEO of Formula 1, Stefano Domenicali. But what is the reverse grid? Well, simply put, the reverse grid is everything inverted. If you're first in qualifying, you start the race last. If you're second, you start the race second last. And so on until the person who was last in qualifying starts the race first. Now it sounds pretty insane. Imagine putting Usain Bolt back 5 meters because he's the fastest man in the world. But yes, it does provide entertainment, but it's not really very sporting, is it? For people who support backmarket teams like Williams, Haas and Aston Martin, you might like this idea because it might be one of the only ways where you can see your favorite car starting on pole position. Why has the CEO said this? Mr. Domenicali was talking about the changes that Formula 1 has gone through, like the introduction of the sprint race. And to quote him, "Because you have to try. The excuses for not doing are always many. It is a principle of life. The purists always turn up their noses, but Formula 1 over the years has changed the way of qualifying dozens of times. It is a need that cannot be postponed to have even more spectacle." What he means to say is that fans want to see more Formula 1 action. It's not just qualifying laps and practice runs, they want to cram more racing action for fans worldwide. A good reason he said this can be because of what happened at Spa and Monza this year. For these two races, almost half of the 20 drivers were given grid penalties and they had to start from the back of the grid. Now it was almost like a reverse grid, and it genuinely gave us some intense racing with smart pit stop strategies and some amazing overtakes. So can the reverse grid work on all races? Well, just like these nonsense WhatsApp forwards that keep appearing on your groups, with a bit more research, this can be debunked. There's a reason that manufacturers chose to take engine penalties at the two tracks specifically. It's because they're high-speed tracks. Overtaking is a lot easier because there's just tons of space to do it. Now tracks like Monaco and the Hungaroring, they don't really see many overtakes. But the reverse grid isn't really new. It's been there in Formula 2. For the sprint race that takes place on a Saturday, they reverse the top 10 drivers' positions from qualifying. It's pretty confusing, but it provides some exciting racing. So will Formula 1 adopt this? Well, it's not set in stone, but if the interview tells us anything, it's that the Formula 1 CEO is trying to make the sport more competitive. He even spoke about possibly introducing points for practice sessions. Now he won't be taking this decision alone. He will be meeting all the stakeholders and talking to all the Formula 1 experts about the possibility of these changes being implemented. Maybe they will be implemented or maybe they won't. But Stefano Domenicali has assured the public that he will try his best to make the sport more competitive. So thank you for watching this video by Fervent Motorsports. Do remember to subscribe to our channel for all things motorsport related.